Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rachakwadash, double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, as well as double honor to their elders, peace and blessings to the 144,000 pushing this world with all truth and sincerity, as well as peace and blessings to all the believers of Yahushai. Just wanted to do a quick lesson, as brothers have been doing. I did a lesson myself, regarding, RFK, speaking on, these wearables he want to wear, every American to wear. But I didn't bring out this website here, which I brung out before. Just speaking on, it's a pattern. You can go to Google. You type in pattern 060606, and you can find it in Google pattern. So we're gonna get into that. So Lord willing, it to be a edifying lesson, straight to the point. So let's get into it. Play a couple couple minutes, or not. This is only a couple minutes long, but play a little small portion of this video here.
Protections for consumer wellness technologies. Secretary Kennedy, my first question is that there is a tremendous amount of research that shows that greater engagement with one's health leads to better outcomes. In recent years, American innovators have created and improved wearable devices so that not only are consumers able to better engage with their health through monitoring data, but they are able to share that data with providers. I believe American consumers, in line with the 21st Century Cures Act, should be able to access these innovative wellness tools. Secretary Kennedy, do you agree that consumers should continue to have access to these tools?
Absolutely. In fact, we're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again, and we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
Thank you.
And there you have it from the horse mouse himself, that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years. And they're not going to come straight forward out and say it yet. What is this wearable that he wants every American to wear? It's this chip, man. The RFID microchip, They ain't talking about no Fitbits. He ain't trying to get Fitbits for everybody in America. No, they wanna go subdermal under your skin, because that's how how you gonna be able to as you eat, as he said, how with a Fitbit, how you gonna be able to monitor your blood and glucose levels, with just a watch on your wrist? Nah, there's going to be something within you to monitor your blood and some, and with the device, as they, not coming straight forward out and says that microchip. Because this is what the prophecy says. The earth is governed by the words of the Bible, the prophecies that are written within. So we know this, it must come to pass. And they know they got a short time, so they got to move forward with this agenda. As you said, they about to launch one of the biggest campaigns. To get them to deceive the American people. Oh, it's gonna be healthy. It's gonna help your health. You're gonna be able to do this and do that. This is all lies. And as 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of your wicked schemes, Esau. God, we got the insider knowledge through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, through the gift of the Holy Spirit. And we know what's to come, you know. We know your plans. And we know how to escape them. Lord willing, we be an elector. The Heavenly Father's going to protect us, during the hour of temptation. We're not going to be succumb to taking that. But this is the Google pattern 060606 or 666, and it's a pattern basically for these devices. These wearable devices. These ultimately it's the chip. It's not gonna say it down right in here. But this is exactly what it's talking about. So let's read this right quick, and then we'll continue on. It says cryptocurrency system using body activity data. So, the patent number is W002020006, well, 0060606A1. And who made this patent, who filed for it. And these are the names of the inventors, but let's look at the companies. It says In 2019, it says application filed by Microsoft Technology Licensing LLC, and then 2020, same same thing. But so Bill Gates, he got his hands on this. They're all tied in. Let's read this abstract right here. It says human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of a cryptocurrency system. And I got a clip from Black Mirror because this is basically how they want the people to live. It says a server may provide a task to a device of a user, and once again, what is the device? It's not no Fitbit they talking about. They talking about that RFID microchip, radio frequency identification. Over here in the Western Hemisphere, in the Eastern Hemisphere, you got near field communication. Chip. A server may provide a task to a device of a user which is communicatively coupled to the server. A sensor communicatively coupled to or compromised in the device of the user may sense body activity of the user. Body activity data may be generated based on the sense body activity of the user. The cryptocurrency system communicatively coupled to the device of the user may verify if the body activity data satisfies one or more conditions set by the cryptocurrency system and award cryptocurrency to the user whose body activity data is verified. You see, cash is going to be done away with. Everything's going digital. And the new money, they gonna have control over it. Ain't gonna be no more saving money and putting in their shoebox and nothing like that. Like nah, Esau Edom, he gonna be dishing out the money based off of your body activity data, what you're doing. And basically this is saying the same thing right here, but I'm gonna read it. It says a cryptocurrency system compromising one or more processors and memory storing executable instructions that, if executed by the one or more processors, configure the cryptocurrency system to communicate with the device of the user. Once again, that device is that chip. It says receive body activity data, which is generated based on body activity of the user, wherein the body activity is sensed by a sensor communicatively coupled to or compromised in the device of the user. Verify if the body activity data of the user satisfies one or more conditions set by the cryptocurrency system and award cryptocurrency to the user whose body activity data is verified. And this is a long read. It's a long, uh, what is it? It's a long pattern. Electronic cash system says a blockchain is a data structure that stores a list of transactions and can be thought of as a distributed electronic ledger that records transactions between source identifiers and destination identifiers. So this is all going to work through the blockchain. He wants to know everything. Track you in every way. You can't make a purchase without him knowing. No more under the table purchases or whatnot. But yeah, this is, like I said, it's a very long pattern. So it's all type of stuff throughout here. I ain't took the time out to just read it yet, because this is a lot. Uh, yeah, like some BS in here talking about MRI, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of good gems in here. But this is their plans for the future. To not just for America, but globally. All the governments across the world that moving towards this digital system, to where ultimately they're gonna put a chip within the people. This is not we got proof. Through the things that are going on Earth today. Now you got people walking around with chips in them across the planet in Sweden right now. And shit over here in America too. You got these damn dumbass Edomites. They want to upgrade themselves. Turn themselves into cyborgs, as they say. So people are down with this, especially Esau Edom. They can't wait to get that chip within them. You're gonna be destroyed. Well, let me all play this little quick clip from Netflix here, and hopefully they let me play it. Fair use. I ain't making no money off of this. Just want to play a little couple minutes from here. But this is Black Mirror episode one, not season one, episode 3. Black Mirror, 15 Million Marrieds. If you want to go check it out for yourself, it's still on Netflix. But they're just showing how basically this, they monitor your body activity data, then they're gonna award, cryptocurrency or whatever the digital currency that they're using. But it's based off of, the thing, how healthy you are. So let's play this. And may I add, it's gonna show a part into this, because how's it tracking this? How does it know? They have this. Everybody in this episode here, they have this stamp on here on their hand, which is representative of that chip. The mark. This is how they're able to count their body activity data through that mark. And you gotta pay. You literally gotta pay for everything. You gotta pay for the toothpaste, your food, anything. You gotta pay for it all. And they stuck. Hey, if it just like a 15-minute cities, they stuck in here. You can't go anywhere else outside your room. Oh, you have access to what they give you to the gym area to go eat some lunch. And back to your little square. This is how Esau Edom wants to govern the people. This is his plan for the future. As you can see, right here on this hand, they all have this mark on somewhere on their bodies, but and they made sure they showed him right here, signifying that mark. This is what they're getting ready to push towards, every American. And ultimately, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, wants everybody on the planet with this mark within them. But this is how they monitor, his body activity data to give him those credits. See, yeah, why did they zoom in right here? This is Esau. He got to show you, his plans before he play it out too. But they made sure, to zoom in right here, show this. This is what's getting ready to happen. The mark, and Lord willing, it comes fast. Faster. The quicker we get the hell up out of here. As Pastor Hart says, once they make that mark mandatory, things gonna be moving faster. And this damn devil, he's getting ready to show his horns, as it says here in Revelation 13. So we'll read this and read to the end. We'll end the lesson out here. It says, Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And it's speaking about America. And he had two horns like a lamb. And what are those two horns? You got the Democratic Party, and as well as the Republican Party. It says like a lamb, two horns like a lamb. They both, they both speak. We're gonna help you. We're gonna do this for the people. Trust us. Vote for us. They come in docile. But it is at the end. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This devil was getting ready to show his horn. Because these two horns, they work for the same agenda. And ultimately, the elites, they're in control at the end of the day on both sides. But they're getting ready to speak as a dragon. It's gonna come a time and point. They're not gonna say, "Oh, wearables." They're gonna say, "Now you're gonna have to get this chip, or you're gonna be X'd out. You're gonna be killed." This is the times that we're coming into. You go into that word dragon there. It goes back to the Greek word G1404, drakon, and then the blue letter doesn't really give a good definition for drakon. But let's go to the etymology online. The word for draconian, because that's where it comes from. So draconian in the etymology online says 1759 of or pertaining to Draco, the ancient Greek statesman, in reference to laws rigorous, extremely severe, or harsh. Earlier draconic, which is implied from the 1640s, it says Draco is the Latinized form of Greek drakon. Just to show it's the same word right there. Drakon. Draconia is just a different way of saying dracon. So Draco is the Latinized form of Greek drakon, name of the archon of Athens who laid down a code of laws for Athens circa 621 BCE, says that mandated death as punishment for minor crimes. It says his name seems to mean literally sharp-sighted. So this is what's getting ready to happen. Death for minor crimes. And guess what? It's gonna be a crime to speak against the mark of the beast. To not take it. It's gonna be it's gonna be against the laws. Well, at that time there ain't gonna be no law. Martial law is gonna be whatever the dictators say. So it's gonna be a crime to not take the mark of the beast. So you're gonna have to be punished. It says that mandated death as punishment for minor crimes. So for not taking that, hey, you're gonna have to be put to death as well as exed out of society. As we're gonna continue to read down. So I'll read verse 11 again. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused it the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Speaking about the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire had a deadly wound, but it was healed through the Renaissance period, the reincarnation of it. And it's fully, the image of Rome is fully speaking through America. It says, continuing on, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And this happened, when NATO, during the Kosovo War, just straight to the point. It's from Wikipedia. It says the conflict ended when the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, intervened by beginning airstrikes in March 1999, which resulted in Yugoslav forces withdrawing from Kosovo. So this is the first time this devil Esau Edom, the so-called white man, made fire come down from the heavens, in the sight of men. So continuing on, it says, and verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And these miracles speaking of his technology. So he's deceiving the earth and deceiving the people by, oh, you take this, it's going to be good for your health. It's going to be able to monitor you. We're going to be able to early detection for cancer, which it's the reason it's causing the cancer. It's all, lies and deceit. It says, Revelation 13:14 from the top again, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Hey, Elon Musk, we can restore your health. Not your health, but your eyesight, your hearing. You're gonna be able to talk again. You're gonna be able to walk again, move your limbs. You're gonna be able to control computers with your mind. These are the miracles on the left hand side through this damn devil's technology that he's performing. Right before our eyes. These things are happening, hey, as we speak, as I speak. Revelation 13:14, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. Once again, that the beast that had a wound by a sword, that's the Roman Empire. So the image of the beast is going into the image of the Roman Empire, their system of governing, the way that they done things. America is nothing but a photocopy of the Roman Empire. A Senate house, these things are from Rome. A Senate house, want to rule over the people, all the bread and circus, hey, even shopping malls, all that stuff. This comes from ancient Rome. This is Rome 2.0. In just a modern sense. Continuing on, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you're not getting along with this system and whatever they pushing out. Ultimately when they push out that mark, mandatory. If you don't get along with that, if you're not accepting of that, you're gonna be killed, literally, as well as exed out of society. Going to that word killed there. G615, apoktaino, it says, an outline of biblical usage, to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish. That's going to physically being killed, as well as the root word from there is G575, apo, which under outline of biblical usage it says of separation. Definition 2, of separation of apart from the whole. You're gonna be separated from the society, that Esau Edom is getting ready to create. You're not gonna be able to be a part, If it's 15-minute cities, you're gonna be on the run, living in the wilderness, being a pilgrim upon the earth, whatever your brother's lot is. But guess what? At the end of the day, the Heavenly Father is gonna guide us through it all. The elect is gonna get through everything that whatever their lot is. To be persecuted, to be on the run, to be in the wilderness, or to be under the guillotine, man. We know that we got the victory, whether we live or die in Yahweh Shai, you know, man. Hey, we should be rejoicing now. The kingdom is getting closer. You know, our salvation is nearer than what we believe. You know, hey, the talk of the microchipping is becoming way more mainstream now, especially after this RFK coming out saying this for every American. You know, this is now it's hitting their mind. Though. What are you talking about, a wearable? You know, they like you talking about microchipping? You know, they got let me see
accessibility, accessibility and statutory.
Salakia. I probably put up another video they had brought out on a Thursday live as well. You know, this guy going into it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, on the David Packman show, I'm a
Texans know for selection.
I'll put this in the description box. You can go read it. But hey, what does it say? Shock. RFK proposes the same microchipping they warned us about. So if people know about this, you know. So what are you? What's your problem with as Pastor Har, with you other camps out there who can't see that this is Revelation 13:16 is talking about a microchip, you know, in this June, as a Bishop Nathaniel says, and there is gonna be a microchip, you know. So let's keep reading here. Verse 16 now, Revelation 13:16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. You know, so everybody, no matter who you are in society, everybody on the whole planet, man, ain't nobody excluded. And he calls it all, both small, and that he is talking about the beast, NATO and EU, which America is part of, NATO. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You know, you go to that word mark there, it's karakma. You know, showing that it's a physical thing, G5480, karakma, under outline of biblical usage, straight to the point, definition 2, says steam carved, sculpture, or graven work. And see, they want to physically get under your skin, you know. They don't want to just put a stamp on you, you know. They want to get inside. How are they going to be able to measure your blood, you know, early detection? Because they want to be inside you to know, to constantly, you know, be monitoring you. Going to the root word from karax, not from karax. Going to the root word from karagma, which is karax, G5482, karax. And the outline of biblical usage just says a pale or stake, a palisade. You know, a stake is is a wooden post, you know, with a point at the end of it. You know, like say if you're building a fence, you know, this is representative of that syringe. You know that that's going to put that grain of rice within people's hands. Now going to the root word from karax, you have G1125, which is grapho. On the outline of biblical usage, it says, straight to the point, definition 2:4, to write to one, i.e., by writing in a written epistle, to give information, directions. This is the part of that microchip that's gonna hold all your information, your health information, your 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 IDs, your biometrics. You know, which biometric is the measurement of life. Bio is life, and metric is measurement. So your fingerprints, your handprints, your iris scans, you know, all of those things, you know, that can be contained within the chip. And his devil is about to come with it, you know, Lord willing, sooner than later, you know. Hey, all he needs is chaos. And they've been talking about chaos. You got videos coming out now talking about sleeper cells, you know, be weary about, July 4th, you know, for gatherings or whatnot, you know, which we should be, you know, we're in those times, you know, anything, all hell could break loose at any time, you know, so we shouldn't be around these people, you know, in large gatherings or whatnot. But just a little side note there, let's keep going. Revelation 13:16 again from the top. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. And this is how it's going to cause people, you know. You're not going to be able to buy or sell anymore unless it says, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Unless you got that mark, you ain't you ain't be able to do shit within this new society that Esau Edom wants to create, you know. And that's fine, you know. We're gonna be dependent upon Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know. He's gonna take care of, our food, clothing and shelter, as he said he would, as he promised. Lord willing, we be at that number, you know. we're doing the things that's pleasing unto the Heavenly Father to to be covered in that day. Not bowing down to Esau Edom and having fear in man. Our fear resides within Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Revelation 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, and the name of the beast is simply having the mark within you. Now you have the name of the so-called white man upon you. You've made him your God by taking that mark within you. It says, or the number of his name, which is 666. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. As the Apostle mentioned, this is going to the universal product code, which is right here. These left guard bars, these two lines that represents a 6, and the center bars that represents another 6, and the right guard bars that represents another 6. 666. And you find this on all your products or whatnot. They want to take this and they put it inside you. Now you're the product. And then if you going to the word 603 scoring 6 is chi psi stigma. Let's go to it. Chi psi stigma. And the X, this is the first letter of Christ, it's spelled, it's representing the X and out of the Mashayak, Yahushai. It represents the X and out of Yahushai. That's what's been done over here. The spiritual, him being spiritually crucified. His mess, everything he stood for, the way he looked, his skin color, the message that he came with, the gospel. Now everybody can be saved. Now he came for no. Yahushua did not come for every nation upon the planet, that they can be saved and can be part of the covenants. No, this is specifically for the Israelites, and for the elect of the nation of the Israel, because 2/3 of our people, they're not included either. They're gonna have to come back through the loins of the elect. So that was Kai. Then you got the Sai, which Esau Edom. He used this on his left hand side for his wisdom and whatnot, which is not wisdom. His technology that he wants to use. And he'll put this different. He'll put it in this symbol here, in different logos or whatnot that he has. It's like a symbol for the elites. Tesla logo. Always bring those up. Tesla logo, the Biden Harris logo, and many other places. You'll find this all throughout this damn man's kingdom, on all different kind of brands. Even this headphone brand I'm using right now, got this symbol. So this probably this is a demonic ass symbol right here. They got you got the three snakes, which making a 666 right there. And then you got the Psi, It's time, for them to push this mark, But this is all throughout this man's kingdom. You'll find that the Psi in an uppercase form like that. So that's Chi, Psi, and then you have stigma, which represents that pricking, And let's get this a better definition for stigma here in Galatians 6. Galatians 6 and 17. We'll go there. Galatians 6 and 17 is Apostle Paul speaking. It says, from henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Yahushai. And you go into that word marks, it's stigma. And this G4742 stigma on the outline of biblical usage. This is exactly what they want to do, and this is what they're getting ready to do, and shit they already doing it. Just got these simple ass Edomites and shit, simple ass Jake out here talking about they want to be cyborgs and shit, and they going out there willingly before it's even made mandatory to get. Little do they know, hey, you don't have to keep that within you, and if you want to be in this man's society to come. But it says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. You see, and they want to be pricked in, to monitor you. It's for your safety, for your health, so you can better monitor your glucose levels. It says the ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked cut into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to, and there were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. This is a digital awl. In the ancient world, they drove a awl through your ear to show that you want to be with your master forever. Now they want to put this awl within your body. Esau Edom wants to show you now he's the master of everybody up on the planet. This damn devil has a god complex. But that was that. So we're done with Revelation 13. Let's get to Revelation 3 and 10, and then we'll end it off on the judgment for taking this. This mark. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, it should be red letter. Revelation 3 and 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, suffering, suffering in this truth, no matter what, having faith within Yahweh, having faith of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, no matter what we're going through, the persecution, unto death, keeping the faith of Yahweh Shai, through everything. So because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. And what's the hour of temptation? When that mark, the RFID chip, is be made mandatory on a global scale. This is what we're moving to, the hour of temptation. But Yahweh Shai said he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation because we've kept the word of his patience, teaching his word, no matter what, believing in it, and walking in it. So because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see, this is going to come upon all the world, to try everybody upon the earth. And you go into that word world there, it's oikoumene. Letting you know, G3625, oikoumene, or oikoumene, on the outline of biblical usage says the inhabited earth. It says definition 3, the whole inhabited earth, the world, the inhabitants of the earth, men. You see, it's talking about everybody upon the earth, the inhabited earth. This devil want to put a chip within everybody, So this is a global prophecy. No matter between, as that damn guy, mention him again, no matter about the bickering between, the EU nations or in between America, nah. The prophecy says it's gonna come up on all the world, and we see everybody in the world moving to a digital system, a CBDC, So we see the prophecy being fulfilled before our eyes, So let's go to the judgment, and we'll end it here. Doom for worshipers of the beast, Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, so it don't matter which hand, as long as you got that mark within your body, guess what? You belong to Esau Edom now, and you're destined to be destroyed, at the coming of Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It says, the same, verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to have to feel the unadulterated fire from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, his righteous anger, man, that's going to come by way of Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh Shai is the Lamb, and the holy angels. And coming in those chariots, which the world knows as UFOs and UAPs, those are the vehicles that the angels drive, man. And they're going to be shooting laser beams up on America, zapping people, as well as, the 200 million nuclear warheads falling upon America, man. It's going to be a horrible time to be up on the shores of America, up on the landmass of America, It's going to be a horrible time, if you're not part of the elect. Lord willing, we be that number to escape this judgment, and we know that the elect will, according to Psalms 91, only with thine eye shall thy see, we'll end it there, Lord willing. Psalms 91. The whole chapter is good, but straight to the point. Psalm 91 and 8, it says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Hey, Lord willing, we're going to be in the chariots looking down, as the Apostle John saw in his vision. We're going to be looking down upon America, seeing America on fire. That's how he's seen America as a lake of fire from the east coast to the west coast. America is surrounded by water. It's going to look like one big lake of fire. But I'm gonna end the lesson there. So, hey, don't take the chip, man. That because that is the mark of the beast. Simply put, don't listen to these other groups out there or whoever saying something that saying that is something that it's not. Revelation 13 and 16 is talking about the RFID microchip. So Lord willing was edifying to the point, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Hakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. Shalom.